Miss this goodness.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. All right. We're here on a late, various shades of late Saturday night for most of you, Saturday afternoon for some of you, crazy odds in the mornings for at least a couple of us here, which is exciting. And so excited to see the results of these amazing 48 hours. So for those of you that are jumping on, tell us again in the chat box which school you're representing tonight, where you're coming from. How was your semifinals? What were you most impressed by? What was something that was really noteworthy that you saw either from the event itself, from the semifinal presentations you just had a chance to see? We'd love to hear kind of what your big ahas or big moments were, or pieces of impact from the semifinals, since we didn't have a chance to find all of those. So do share. Yeah, we got all the schools coming in. We've got Minnesota, we've got Rice, we got Berkeley Haas, Arizona State, Washington Foster in the house representing WP Carey School of Business. Brilliant. Drucker, the team is here again. Fantastic. Lots of folks from Carnegie Mellon. Love it. Sandy Cartons. All right. Got a huge cohort from Carnegie Mellon this round. So yeah, what was a piece of impact from the semifinals? What was one kind of really cool moment, really cool takeaway, really cool thing that occurred during guys' semifinals? Anybody want to share a moment with us, for those of us that are living vicariously through your chats right now, as to what happened in the school level? Would love to hear that. And if not that, everyone is so darn smart. Definitely saying we've got a amazing crew of more than 300 MBAs that had volunteered for this event. So there is a plethora of brain power all working together in this short 48-hour time. So much fun. What's your biggest takeaway for those of you? A lot of you guys mentioned when we kick things off, this is your first time with the Small Business School Challenge. First time for some of you with any kind of a case competition, but ours, we know, is a horse of a different color as well, working with real small businesses. So what's your biggest learning from this whirlwind of 48 hours? I'd love to hear from you guys as well. What's one thing you're going to take away from this event moving forward? So we got some notes, extremely well thought through recommendations from the teams. Love to hear that. Awesome. Impressed by everyone had the cases in their fingertips in just 2 days. You could do a lot in 2 days when you guys collaborate. It's so cool to see. I can't wait to see the best of the best here tonight as well. So many innovative business ideas out there. Absolutely. Very cool. If you guys are joining us, please mute yourselves so that we don't have a lot of people talking over each other. All right, so lots of innovative business ideas, impact. Biggest takeaway was the team recommendation to be useful and profitable for your client, and the impact is incredibly humbling. Absolutely, Chelsea. We love that you guys are here for the business. I think that's so amazing, and everybody appreciates it. Small businesses need simple solutions. That is a great takeaway. That's a brilliant takeaway. The potential to drive real impact and support. Amazing.
Good idea or not?
What it looks like in a real consulting world. Fabulous. So cool. Okay, so lots of great takeaways. Again, those of you just joining us, drop your school in. Tell us what your big takeaway or a big aha moment was from semifinals or from the event as a whole, so we can kind of see how everything's going. Who else has something to share? All right, let me go back to the chat. Real consulting, yeah, outside of a casebook. That is that is a great comment, because yeah, this is a little different than kind of a classic case that you might have going on. So definitely a different chance to do some things. All right. For the business owners that are joining us tonight, I've heard from a few of you. What's been your takeaway from this 48 hours? I know many businesses haven't had a chance, you mentioned in your applications, to work with any sort of a consultant or outside advisory kind of group like this, or let alone a virtual hackathon happening over 48 hours. So would love to hear what your takeaway as a business owner has been from having a chance to work with the MBA teams, if you have a chance to join us and tell us. Yep. Ayush from Rice says, incredible to see how much impact a couple of days of brainstorming can be. Absolutely. And we're going to have some stories tonight, just sharing a little bit more of the impact from the last year and a half of what's been happening even since the very first event. So look forward to seeing that, because that's what you guys are part of now, which is so exciting to see. Cool. Let me share while you guys are keep trickling in. Again, share your school, share a big takeaway from this event, share an aha moment or just a brilliant moment, something that impressed you over the course of the semifinals or working with your teams. And we're going to have a amazing national final. So we're going to share a little bit of the impact of this event, but also kind of what the Small Business School Challenge has done over the course of 4 events now, because you guys are a huge part of something that's starting a movement, that's starting a pretty amazing initiative. And we want to let you know kind of the history of that, but also where things are headed. So we've got some stories to tell. And after that, I'm going to introduce the judges that we have here. We have some amazing judges who are going to be looking at these cases with fresh eyes. So the best of the best from each of the rounds is going to be presenting again live here for us tonight. And we're going to get to watch that live. So we're going to go through all the team presentations after we hear about some of the impact. The judges are going to deliberate, and we're actually going to announce the prizes live as well. So we're going to announce first through third on the national level. We're also going to announce the winners of the side quests. We're going to announce the winners of the extra prize for the business team. And it's going to be very cool to celebrate that. And if the winning teams are on, especially the business owner, we'd love to have them also come on towards the end. So if you could stick with us through all of the presentations, we'd love to hear from everybody who's in the mix. So let me share some stats. Are you guys curious what you've managed to achieve and what you've been part of through the course of this event? I'm getting some response. Okay, brilliant. All right. So rewind a little bit. I think most of you have heard about the sort of origin story of the Small Business School Challenge. We got started a year and a half ago, and this is our 4th event. We were born out of the pandemic, and to date now, we have served more than 500 small businesses with the aid of more than 1,500 MBA and graduate students, and more than 400 other supporters, mentors, professors, admins, donors, you name it, coming alongside us to help small businesses. So yeah, more than 2,000 people in a year and a half have been involved in this effort that is the Small Business School Challenge, which is pretty cool. And we shared before that the average value that the businesses say the consulting they get from working with you guys over the course of 48 hours is in the thousands of dollars. So at last tally, more than $1 million in free consulting was delivered over our first 3 events, and there's an extra 200K as well added to top of that this event, just based on estimates through business owner here. So that's 1.2 million in consulting you guys have been able to do in a year and a half. Pretty cool. You talk about the impact, like that's a deal, because to deliver that to small businesses when they wouldn't have had access to that volume, that value of consulting is huge. And you heard a little bit in the kickoff, but 68% of our businesses reported they've implemented some strategies from their MBA teams. So more than 2/3 are actually going to take some of your suggestions and run with it, which is very cool. And the result of that is half of them have grown their revenue, even during a pandemic and the ongoing situation, shutdowns, challenges everybody's facing. And more than 43% reported they have rehired staff and extended the impact of the local community and the families who depend on small business employment for their livelihood. I don't know if you guys know this, but the businesses that we served these last 48 hours employ 564 people. So you're making a direct impact on the livelihood of 564 people through your work 48 hours, which is pretty cool. There's also, from this event alone, 28 states plus Canada represented. And of our small businesses, 60% were women-owned and 62% were minority-owned, including 28% Black-owned businesses. So a round of applause for bringing amazing support to those who can really benefit and who tend to be not at the front of the line when it comes to having access to programs and additional support and things like this. So big high five to you guys for those things. So those of you who had a chance, how did you like the workshops? Raise your hand or drop in the chat box if you had a chance to attend the design thinking workshop or the influences strategy workshop with Dr. Trish Gorman, or today's workshop on storytelling in a pitch and how to do that best with Mark Irwin. So give us a quick heads up in the chat if you had a chance to take advantage of our amazing workshop speakers and if that was impactful for you guys and your teams as you were presenting and working with your clients. Love to hear. Again, keep the chat box coming tonight. I don't want anybody falling asleep on us here, so make sure you're dropping your notes in there as we go. But yeah, we had some excellent quality workshops. You'll have access to recordings as well, but the purpose was to give you some extra ammunition. We love the storytelling, amazing. Design thinking workshop, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of us, it's a new skill set. It's a different way of thinking. So I'm excited to have you guys have a chance to get that exposure and add those skills and those tools into your arsenal for not just this event, for things to come. So we're also excited to be working more on the education side of things, working the Small Business School Challenge into curriculums as part of an MBA learning opportunity in more and more universities moving forward. We had a couple schools brill this into their semesters, and more are coming on board to do that, which is so exciting. So all that to say, a big thank you to all of you guys who jumped in and volunteered, signed up, weren't really sure what you were signing up for, which is totally okay, but are helping us bring this vision to life, this vision to rally some of the best and brightest business minds in the States to the cause of small business success. Our mission is to change the statistics. Everybody's seen the stats at this stage. Half of small businesses fail within 5 years, 70% within 10. We believe we can change that. We believe small businesses need and deserve our help, even beyond a pandemic. And we're committed to doing that now and into the future. So thanks so much for being a part of it. We are grateful. Your businesses are grateful as well for those of you on the teams that stepped up. And on that note, I am going to introduce the man behind the scenes whose brainchild the Small Business School Challenge actually was. My partner in sort of founding this Small Business School Challenge, David Corfield. He's going to have some fun stories to share with you guys tonight to give a little bit more insight into what you're doing and then the real world impact of the Small Business School Challenge. So David, you want to share a little bit more about who you are, how this came about, and what you have to say about the businesses you've had a chance to get up with.
Amazing. Yes, thank you, Katrina. And thank you all so much for being here and taking part in this event. We all appreciate it so much. Small businesses you're helping appreciate it so much. And yeah, for Katrina and I especially, who dreamt this up a year and a half ago, and could never have dreamt that it would become an enduring institution like this and would be helping our 500th small business and having over $1 million in estimated impact is it's pretty humbling. Yeah, it's really amazing thing what you're all able to achieve. And so, as Katrina mentioned, this was born out of the pandemic last year in a world where we were only interacting virtually. That was the only community building we could do, the only form of connection that we had in that time. Our first event was in May of last year, and we all can put ourselves back there. Not that we want to, but we know what that experience was like, and we tried to make the best of it. Like this event works in part because it is virtual and allows us to have the reach, as you mentioned, across states, across the whole country, and with Canada this time as well. But one thing I was always looking forward to personally was that moment where I could get out from behind the screen and go and meet some of our small business owners that we'd helped in person, and hear their personal stories about not only the impact that we've had, but just where they are with things now. Like we have a huge impact, but the life of a small business owner, I hope you've had the chance to experience, the MBA students on the call, get some insight into the madness, the chaos, and the constant work it is to build and grow a successful small business. And so I've been lucky enough in the last 24 hours here in New York, where I'm based now, to visit two such small business owners from our very first event back in May. Yesterday evening, I went to Astoria in Queens to meet Eduardo, the owner of Incasa Home and Decor, which is the most incredible, I call it like a nice things store. Like they have candles, they have cushions and pillows and pieces of furniture. Sort of like, for those of you that have seen Schitt's Creek, like a Rose Apothecary with a bit more home goods and fewer consumables is a good way to describe it. And he came second in the national final. His team came second in the national final for the first event, and he's still raving about the impact that his team have had. I'll speak more about it. This morning, I went down to Chelsea and met with Wayne from Billy's Bakery. And funnily enough, Billy's Bakery was actually recommended to me on my fourth day of being in New York by my acupuncturist, who, while sticking needles in my back, was telling me about this bakery that I had to check out between 20th and 21st Street. And I have a terrible memory, but I knew what bakery she was talking about from the stories that came out of our first event. And Wayne was great. He introduced me to all of his staff out of that location. I got a tour of their whole baking operation. And he gave me a lot of insight into where they're at with the business and his outlook on the next year or so. So beyond the impact that the teams had for those individuals, which I think Katrina did an amazing job of sharing in the numbers, that's the sort of the typical experience that they've had. I asked them for some lessons that they would want to impart on other small business owners, but I hope sort of MBA students here can take this, either feed it back to those that they helped, but also sort of share this mindset and understand even more where small business owners need our help, because ultimately that's why we're all here. And so there are three main areas that stood out for me. The first was small business owners need to lean on their community right now. Like, Eduardo knows the owners of basically all the other small businesses in Astoria, and he's part of so many schemes and sort of collaboration efforts to build that community and create that neighborhood feel that it's a lot of the reason why small business adds so much richness to our lives. When you can walk along the street, you can say hi to sort of the old-fashioned, like your butcher, like say hi to the baker at the coffee store. When everybody knows each other, it makes for such a richer experience. And he was so passionate telling me about how he's managed to stock most of his store with local suppliers and local producers, and sort of other small businesses helping each other in that way. So if anybody just happens to have a recommendation this evening that touches on that and having that sort of network, there might be bonus points available from me from how much I think that's an effective strategy. The second is keeping your options open. And this really came from Wayne at Billy's Bakery. He said that they don't know yet what the next year is going to look like. Like, we had no ability to predict the last couple of years. And at this point, nobody has the confidence to predict what the next year looks like and when we're going to be out of COVID, if that is even a construct we can sign up to. But a lot of his thoughtful strategy right now is putting himself in a position where, if we need to dial things down and it's going to take longer to emerge out of this, we can. But if we see an opportunity come up where we can ride the wave out of this and see a new opportunity, then we can also do that as well. And that's very difficult as a small business owner, where often you have to pick a path and go for it just from a pure execution perspective. But really helpful reminder that where MBA students can have a lot of help, because he said he didn't have the capacity to have that strategic thought. Like, they have the options, they don't know which one to go for, and they're going to need some direction and make a decision at some point. And I'm sure there are small business owners that you all have helped over the last 48 hours who are facing that kind of decision. And I'm sure some of your insight and analysis has helped them go there. The third point from Eduardo, and it was sort of touching for him to raise this because it was actually the key message that I gave in the very first event, was for small business owners to keep asking for help and to not feel in any way embarrassed to do so or undermined by that. Because every small business owner that has been helped in this competition asked for help. They signed up. They were often nominated as being like stand out within their community, but ultimately they had to ask for and accept the help of MBA students, which is a very unfamiliar territory. And Eduardo said that as great as the recommendations are that he received, those ideas don't last forever. And small businesses always need new ideas to be working on. So whatever final interactions you have, and I hope they're not final, but whatever interactions you have with the small business owners you've been working with, I really hope you can leave them with that message as well. So they're always welcome to come back to the Small Business School Challenge and apply in future rounds, future events. We are very happy to take them back and see the stories of how they develop. But also that they have that mindset to be reaching out, because there are people like us and other support systems out there to help out. So our final thing, I promised I was going to keep it shorter than this. The final thing that they both appreciated, and this is more directed to you MBA students, find the little ways to stay in touch. It can be really difficult to maintain a really as in-depth a relationship as I'm sure you've built over this time. But both Eduardo and Wayne mentioned how even seeing likes on Instagram posts from the students that they worked through this experience just sort of brings them a smile on a day where, as a small business owner, there's always stress, there's always difficulty, but just knowing that those students are out there still thinking about them, still having something in the back of their mind that they're there to support, really honestly goes a long way. So I hope as a minimum you can maintain some sort of social media relationship, but also if anybody needs any help maintaining a deeper relationship than that, then again, the Small Business School Challenge is here to facilitate that too. So I will stop there. Thank you all again so much. I'm so excited to see all the recommendations that you're going to be coming up with. And yeah, let me pass it back to Katrina or over to introduce the other judges this evening.
Yes. So I'm so jealous you had a chance to go and chat with our alumni in person. How fun to be able to be back in the world, to be able to go do that and have that real face-to-face discussion. You got your Billy Bakery sticker, brilliant. A year and a half later, and see where these guys are at, and also have them kind of come out of the work. I had a similar story. I've been traveling, and it turns out an alumni happened to be traveling through the same area, so I got to meet in person a Small Business School Challenge alumni from the very first event as well last week, and like hug somebody in person. And it's a very cool thing to hear the story, not just from them, but they also know some locals that were also in the finals, and their partner was talking about how well they're doing now. And it's so amazing to see the ripple effect of what you're creating, and also to have that opportunity to keep these relationships going in some way, shape, or form, right? That's the beauty of our virtual events, is we've got, at minimum, some social channels, some virtual means of keeping tabs. But I would totally encourage you guys, whenever possible, to think about how you can go and meet the small business owners and bring that conversation to the next level. There's a request for SBSC merchandise so we can recognize people. We'll put that on our list. We would love to get to that place where you guys can represent and start to recognize the folks that are involved in our efforts. I think that would be stellar. So on that note, are you guys ready for the main event? Who's excited to see the best of the best this round? I'm excited. Me, yes. All right. Let's get after it. Absolutely, Sam. I am 100% on board with let's get after it. So let me give a quick little introduction to the amazing, brilliant minds joining David on the judging panel. So you will see 3 today giving feedback. in addition to Dave offering his amazing perspective and expertise, we're going to hear from Brenna Robinson, who is head of demand generation and small business marketing at our partners at Ring Central. So she is right in the midst of knowing what's happening in the small business world. She is a leader in unified communications as service and is responsible for all sorts of the small business product marketing, mass media, marketing analytics, operations, all of the things. So she's got some great perspective. We're excited to have kind of her insights and all of that she can offer as a judge. And we're also going to hear from Flor Linares, who's an engagement manager at McKinsey & Company and has a breadth of experience in not just the public sector, but also in the business world and entrepreneurship. So she's actually from Argentina and she grew up in a family of small business owners. So she's got that personal experience as well. And her consulting experience is very extensive. She's got both sides. So it's going to be amazing to see what she has to say as well to our business owners. So very excited for these three to be able to give their insights. Brenna, Flor, would you guys like to say anything before we get started here?
I'm just so excited. This is my first challenge here. My parents were small business owners. I didn't think they even went to the office growing up. I didn't know that. I never saw that. So very personal to me. I've been at Ring Central for over a year, but recently took over this role. I've been at roles at Pfizer and Cisco and also small startups. So I like to think I see the world of it. I'm just super excited to see what's coming up today and problems we've solved for small businesses.
Similar to Brenna, super excited about being here. Small businesses are dear to my heart. I always try to stay close and help in whatever way I can. So super excited to be here and hear what folks have to say. And yeah, let's get at it.
Amazing. All right. So you guys all know Austin is running the show behind the scenes. So Austin is going to be corralling our teams. What we're going to hear is team number, but we're not going to hear necessarily what school they're from. So the judges are going to be blind, no alliances, no allegiances necessarily come to the forefront. It's all about the business case tonight, okay? So Austin, can we tee up the first team, make sure they've got everything they need? And you guys, as you're coming on board, make sure you have screen share or your screen ready to hit share so we don't have to open documents and all of that. So everybody should be primed and ready to go when it's your turn. We're going to move through these quickly. 3 minutes is the game. This is your second round for all of you guys that are finalists. So you should have had a good run beforehand.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to give you the 30-minute or 30-second warning. And if there's time, we'd love to have the judges ask you a question, but we're going to try to watch the clock pretty closely here. So Austin's on clock management as well as getting you guys on deck so you can be ready to rock and roll right after the others. Okay? All right, Austin. Who are we hearing from first?
So let's kick it off with 11.1 with Barnes Attorneys. Shihao, I think that you might have the ability to share screen.
Yep, thanks. Would it be able for everyone to see my screen?
Good to go.
Yeah.
I'll be keeping track of time. So at 3 minutes, I'll call time and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. We are team 11.1 and our client is Barnes Firm. And our client is based in Atlanta, Georgia, and it provides legal services for their clients in terms of family law, business, and the real estate issues. And it also provides some specialized care. And we're trying to help our client tackling their three main problems. First is public trust, second is employee morale, and the last one is rich. And in terms of the public trust, it means the current client of our clients actually only trusts one lawyer in his firm, which is the founder of the firm, which is Jeff. And in terms of employee morale, current employees are not very motivated and they're not self-starters. And about the rich, our clients now currently mainly use word of mouth referral to get their new clients. So we want to help our clients to tackle these three issues and then help them scale the firm and make it sellable. And I will pass it to my teammate Palani to talk about the solutions we come up.
Thank you, Shihal. Good evening, everyone. My name is Palani. So I'll take you through the solutions that we are recommending for Barnes. So first off, we would like to tackle the issue of public trust. We would like them to do two things specifically. First one, we would like them to set up specialized teams that specialize in different areas of the law. And we would like them to have team leaders for each team reporting to Jeff. And the team leaders need to meet the clients in the very first meeting itself in order to establish credibility for everyone else other than Jeff. And then Jeff can swoop in anytime that they are having some trouble with the cases. The other thing that they have to do would be to hire trustworthy lawyers who are in good standing in the community. This way they can import the trust while hiring them. So let's move on to the next slide. So the next issue that we want to tackle is employee morale. So the owner told us that currently he found his employees a little down and not so motivated. So we would really suggest to instill a sense of belonging in the company and to bring in team cohesion into the company. Then the next thing that we would like them to do would be to have a transparent appraisal process that leads to an annual compensation review and career growth. And finally, we would like them to have internal competitions to practice on real-world disputes, especially during times when the employees have some time in their hand. Let's move on to the next slide. So the next issue that we want to tackle is reach. So this was also one of the major problems that the owner mentioned to us. He did say that they're not really well known beyond the geography that they're operating in. So yeah, I'll quickly wrap up. So we want them to take out targeted ads on social media and website. We want them to have profile pages for all their attorneys, and then we also want them to have good exposure through thought leadership. Yep.
Okay. Judges, any off the cuff questions?
I guess I'm curious, right? We all have a favorite person that we've worked with. So how do you think that these strategies are going to help elevate the other lawyers in here to get the respect of potential business or current business?
I think I'll take the question. So during our brainstorming session, one of the things that we discovered that, just being in the workspace and it's just basically motivating them by giving them tasks that really makes them feel self-fulfilled. And one of those is engaging them in case competitions where they can, interact with their fellow colleagues and establish that self-actualization goal. And then putting them in front of our clients or putting them in front of clients would also help boost their credibility. One thing that I think we perhaps kept due to time was putting their credentials on their website. So when clients go visit, they see attorneys on the website, and then it builds that trust and credibility for them. And those are the few ways they would feel motivated and really even more passionate about their job at the company.
Got it.
Great.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? They only know Jeff, they love Jeff, so we've got good people out there to get them excited, meet people, let them feel great about their jobs, and then the circle is great. Thank you, Marianne.
You're welcome.
Thanks, team. 11.1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to move directly into the next team, which is team 9.2, Carmack LLC. Are you out there?
We are. Sorry, my tech is just taking its moment to get online there. Let me share this with you. So we are the team for Carmack, and Carmack is the combination of karma and equity. And we had an 8-legged octopus here of a business plan to wrap our heads around. The platform is about to launch, and we had to decide, is this an investment platform or is it a gifting platform? We needed to redefine the focus on what this business is and who its target clientele is in order to approach the problem from a new perspective and find focus. So we ran a quick SWOT analysis. We found a great untapped market that's very ready for this product, but a series of threats and weaknesses that I'll kind of quickly flow through. I could give a whole presentation just on this. But in order to do what we needed to do, we needed market research that the company hadn't yet done. So we ran a Qualtrics survey over 48 hours and generated about 50 responses that had some very interesting insights for us that helped us redefine our goals within this, that we needed to figure out how to capture the target user we've identified through a compelling story. We've developed a couple of profiles. I call them Harold, who is gifting stocks to his grandchildren, and Lennox, who wants to give holiday gifts, isn't a stock holder or user that often, but wants to magnify their impact. Those profiles can help us in delighting the user through a tailored user experience in the next mode of our stage of the company, in order to create a competitive edge, which requires a focus on network effects and their strong monetization and user base that it can help generate. And looking at a new monetization model, because the one that we had heard from the company itself didn't end up bearing out in the research. So, we don't have time to go into all of this, but Carmack has a target market in those who want to give a present for the future, the gift of a better world. The respondents told us that the primary reason for gift giving was care. They wanted to communicate care. And the compelling story that this platform offers is that idea of magnifying impact, framing a gift in terms of the gift of a better world, reverberation with wider social impact. And the ESG aspect of the platform is really important in that, in building that and in retaining a customer. So taking that into user experience, that's going to be paramount for this company. And so one thing that we can offer them is the recommendation to focus on easy use for the person on Main Street, not on Wall Street, that their user base is not the super savvy investor who's already using multiple fintech platforms, that they need to focus on ESG visualization and tracking, especially with their beta testing, and building a community, because again, the community here is going to be their bread and butter, their flywheel effect. That develops their strategic edge. And that's the thing, this tech could be...
That's time.
I'm at time?
Yep.
Okay. So we had a new monetization strategy for them, but we loved this company and we are wishing them very well.
Sure thing. All right, let's move on to questions from the judges.
Lauren, thank you for that's a really clear presentation. And if anything, I'm sad that it was cut short. So I'll be the nice judge and say, what else would you like to share in the 20 seconds that you have left here? Because I think those conclusions were going to be great.
I think the new monetization strategy is really important for this company. They had kind of a model that was going to replace development budgets for charities, and that's not something that's necessarily viable for them. And so we came up with a replacement that's a particular transaction type and an ad basis that would help them monetize in a bigger way. The other interesting thing from the surveys was that people are willing to pay for this app. And so I think that's really useful information for them.
Amazing. Thanks a lot.
All right, really fantastic job. We're going to kick it off to the next team, which is 1.7, Wrinkle Less Premium.
That's us. Hi, everyone. And just give it a moment for the screen to come up. Austin, am I audible? And are you seeing my screen? Thank you.
You are audible and we can see your screen.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We worked with Mr. Ivers, who has designed a new business model to revolutionize e-commerce sales, and he has a patent pending on this model. However, our primary focus today is on his first brand, which is Wrinkle Less Premium, the success of which we believe is key to prove his business model. If you could move to the next slide, please. Thank you. Quick overview of Wrinkle Less. It is a beauty and skincare company with a focus on natural and organic products, and he currently has 2 products priced in the premium segment. In terms of growth, Wrinkle Less is a nascent pre-revenue company and is currently testing products for customer feedback. In our discussion and brainstorming with Mr. Ivers, we identified 2 top challenges. One, difficulty in articulating the company value, the company positioning, as well as the product value proposition. The second one was the working capital, which is locked up in inventory, leading to cash flow management issues. We adopted first principles design thinking to come up with our recommendations. Next slide, please. If we remove the labels from popular skincare products, as you can see in the slide, it is probably really hard to distinguish one product from another. Our premise is that success of a skincare brand is primarily driven by brand perception and customer loyalty, and Wrinkleless needs to tackle exactly this. And with that, I hand it over to Sam.
Thanks, Sid. So starting off, we recommend reconsidering the product's market position. Differentiation is critical. Wrinkleless is keeping a pace with developing industry trends in the ESG space with its organic and vegan product, which is fantastic, and that should be more robustly highlighted. Wrinkleless should also establish itself as a gender-neutral product, and this niche has been pioneered by big business, but there's an opportunity for small entrepreneurs to capitalize on the niche industry segment as well. The Gen Z and millennial appetite for products in this space is going to grow exponentially in coming years. We also recommend rebranding the product. First, the name itself may confuse potential customers because it pairs conflicting adjectives, less and premium. Moreover, a focus on wrinkles may artificially limit your customer appeal to an older demo, while broader appeal is possible. And Wrinkleness needs to identify what it does in the affirmative and what customers want through a brand discovery process. And that nexus is really going to inform the rebrand. And lastly, Wrinkleless plans to rely on influencers to market and sell its products on social media platforms, so a refresh of its influencer identification program is critical. By leveraging analytics, Wrinkleless can better identify the influencers most effective at converting followers and target markets to customers. And we conducted a brief survey to demonstrate how Wrinkleless might select influencers, which should be repeated over time. And a similar framework should be established to differentiate its influencer compensation model. Dharmesh, over to you.
Thanks, Sam. So going over the impacts these recommendations would give us, so it will increase brand recognition, customer loyalty, and exponential year-on-year growth. I'm just talking about the next steps for him to kind of get these recommendations in place and face the challenges would be to reduce this cost by 32%, which we saw as a potential comparing peers and their cost structures, and then restructuring and redesigning the landing page for high impact communication and customer conversion. Thank you.
Open the question.
On the nose. Brilliant. Judges, what questions do you have?
I can go, David and Renee, if you... Cool. I really follow the first part. The second problem of inventory, I wasn't so clear on. Anything to say about that one?
The second part on inventory, you said?
Uh-huh.
On the rebranding specifically, or on the influencer aspect?
Either. The one that you think is more relevant.
Sure. So I think I'll focus on the distribution model for a second. Because it's a pre-revenue company, they're focusing on low capex means of distribution, primarily through organic social media opportunities, influencers, if you will, as they're called, which is predominantly today on Instagram. And so what we were concerned primarily with was that Mr. Ivers should consider leveraging the analytics that are available to him to develop an appropriate influencer model. So we're saying that if you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, for example, it doesn't mean that's the right customer seg. You want to make sure that your influencers have the right followers if you're going to be distributing product, if you're going to be sending inventory out the door and asking them to sell those products. And so we were talking about, as opposed to thinking about analytics as a mean for reaching the right customers, we're saying, no, start with using analytics to identify the right influencers. And then do a repeat survey process so as to ensure that those influencers have the right customer seg under their umbrella.
Makes sense. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, team 1.7.
And with that, we're going to move on to the next team. Our next team is team 2.13 with Pacific United Insurance Services.
Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. Got it.
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
Really quickly. And can you see the slides? Okay, great. So our team worked with Pacific United Insurance Company. I'm just going to go through a little bit of context. So we worked with Pacific United, which is a contractor insurance agency based out of San Diego, California. Their service areas are primarily California with some potential clients in Oregon, Texas, and Arizona. And their services are mostly contractor bonds, workers' compensation, general liability, and commercial auto insurance. Now, as of now, their team is comprised of 2 partners, 2 in-house employees, and 2 virtual assistants that they recently hired. So the problem statement that we came to when speaking with our client was that they recently generated an influx of new contracts due to optimizing our SEO in this California market. And so as a result, the partners were inundated with admin level tasks. In addition to that, there was a learning curve from the recently hired virtual assistants due to the complexity of some of the systems, as well as just the time frame between their hire and this ramp up of new business. And so the goal for the client would be to remove bottlenecks currently in their system and to increase revenue by taking advantage of the hot market in California. If you can look on the left, our first solution is to adapt the team size and cross-sell their current services. So on the left-hand side, we see that most of their sales are coming from contractor bonds with around 1,500 clients in their business there. Second is the general liability insurance at 500 to 600 clients, and then workers' comp at 250, 260. So the optimum strategy that we suggest is to boost their short-term revenue by cross-selling between those services, and this would free up the partners to focus on selling business versus the admin tasks. Within this recommendation, we've suggested that they recruit an additional VA trainer to train the VAs on their current day-to-day, as well as an expert AMS 360 trainer, which is the database system that the company currently uses to manage their clients. The second alternatively solution is to maximize their internal resources. So to maximize the AMS 360 system with additional capabilities to work efficiently, utilize Andrew, who's one of their in-house employees, who has around 7 years of experience to train the VAs, new virtual assistants. And then thirdly, to schedule weekly stand-up meetings to touch base with their employees, as well as communicating their new growth strategy. I'm going to pass it to my colleague Sub to go through the timeline of solution 1.
Thank you, Mariama. So we are recommending the client select solution 1, and solution 1, the timeline looks like this, the 4-month timeline. It contains some of the quick wins, such as scheduling weekly stand-up meetings, and some of the broader recommendations, as Mariama pointed out in the earlier slides. The goal is to create an offshore team based out of Philippines so that they can manage all of their tasks on their own. And we believe if we go through these action items, the client can manage to do that.
That's time.
Sorry, okay.
All right, let's open it up for questions.
So when you evaluated this challenge, did you ever think about pursuing things outside of their current structure, which was support in the Philippines, or did you want to rely on that support and find ways to make it work?
So we relied upon their existing structure because we were sort of leaning upon the low-cost strategy they were implementing, and just as at the top of the call David was saying, that keeps their options open. So which is why we're trying to lean on that strategy and expand on the offshore side of the teams, which would allow them to sort of pivot if things go south later in the year because of the COVID situation.
Got it. So you said this is their strategy, and how do you optimize it, right? Instead of considering other strategies.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get that.
Yeah, you optimize it with a strategy. I think we have someone off mute. It's hard to hear.
There we go.
Yes. So I heard you were saying you found their strategy was to offshore some support, and you found the best way to optimize that versus considering other means of support.
Yeah. So we already had an offshore team, but the recruiting structure was really amorphous for that particular team. So we gave them a structure so that he can really hire targeted talent, which would add a lot of value to its offshore team, rather than making it as a low effort based system. So that's what we did.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, team 2.13. All right. Next up, we're going to hear from team 3.5 with Tiny Docs.
Thank you. I'll just bring up the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
We can.
Awesome.
Yep, you're all set.
All right, perfect. We're Team 5, Wonder Women, and we're consulting for Tiny Docs. Perfect. We have the pleasure of working with Sunny Williams, CEO and co-founder of Tiny Docs. Tiny Docs is a tiny company with a not so tiny mission. They're out to improve the health and lives of children. The mission of the company stems from co-founder Sunny's own personal medical journey as a kid and filling an untapped niche in the market. Tiny Docs creates care tunes for kids to educate them on wellness topics and healthcare systems with captivating characters. Next slide. Tiny Docs has set a goal to reach 5K in revenue by December 2021. So year to date, they're nearly halfway to that goal. They're challenged with creating brand awareness to attract more customers to their subscription-based platform. Human capital resources are limited as they only have 7 members with 3 focused on sales. Currently, 90% of their revenues are through institutions and 10% through families. To reach Tiny Docs goals, they have 2 key customers they need to target: business-to-business customers and advocates in the B2C space. Both of these customers have a similar value proposition, messages that need to be focused on the health and wellness outcomes of the child, but also really targeting it in on what their outcomes are looking for. For instance, with B2B, they're probably really interested in their net promoter score and getting their patients to come back. Maha is going to present 3 recommendations: social media targeting, influencer collaborations, and a go-to-market approach. And we estimate a reach of over 6,000 pediatricians and 10,000 families through this strategy. Maha, over to you.
Thank you, Tamara. So first off, targeting East Coast. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, East Coast cities has the highest concentration of pediatricians. We recommend targeting pediatric offices and children's hospitals in this geography. Presence and partnering with subject matter experts like American Academy of Peds and JAMA, who have a network of over 67,000 pediatricians, will help build credibility. Second, influencer marketing and partnerships to build advocates in the B2C segment. Like Sunny, loads of parents across the country are going to love and appreciate the mission of Tiny Docs of empowering children through health education. And the best way to communicate this is through mom and parent influencers. Providing product discounts to these influencers will also increase direct sales. Finally, we wanted to share some ideas to reach the decision makers in the B2B segment. Exploring new channels such as group purchasing organizations, healthcare consulting firms like Vizient, IT services firms like DataPrice is going to give them access to new market segment without having to do a lot of research there. And on that note, in line with Sunny's mission of making 1 billion people smile, we would like the team to explore daycare clinics and healthcare nonprofits as new customer segments. In conclusion, we feel that our targeting and building awareness tactics are quick wins and can be implemented within a month. We have assumed a few things, and we also recommend Sunny and his team to hire contractors and freelancers to achieve these outcomes. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Judges, questions for Team 3.5?
Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much, both. That really clear, really awesome presentation. I love the fact that you included the pictures of the team early on. Makes it so much warmer. And your point at the end there around hiring contractors and freelancers to pull off some of this, was that in discussion with the small business themselves and realizing they don't have capacity? I'd love to hear a bit more about the actual execution of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. Yeah, I think one of the conversations, one of the things that came up with the conversations with Sunny was they are just 7-member team and they have only 3 people dedicating on sales. And they are like already really with full plates. So we really went after creative options to kind of like address those capacity constraints.
It's a really great idea. Awesome job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Team 3.5. Next up, we're going to hear from Team 2.31, joyful practices.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. Got the screen, right? Okay. So a very common question that we always ask is, how do we live a joyful life? So today we're very happy to introduce to you our business client, Joyful Practices, your magic pathway to live a joyful life. Joyful Practices is a life coaching business focusing on helping people of color to find their own joy of life. Currently, Nakala runs a one-man business with 2 customers, and we have 2 main types of services here. One with 15-minute exploration trial for free, and the other one is a 1-hour consultation session for $150. Her business mainly targets Black women aged over 21, and since she just started the business, she wants an actionable marketing plan to grow her customer base. So we have identified several situations. First, how to grow a larger customer base. Second, how to stand out from the other life coaches. And third, how to spread a brand image. With all these questions, it brings to a key question and key focus of today. How could Joyful Practices build a long-term life coach branding and stand out within the Black community? And ladies and gentlemen, today we are very honored to present to you our Joy campaign solution. First up, with just from me. So to differentiate from the current life coach markets, we suggest to diversify our products. Other than existing sessions, Nakala can actually create cross videos to help with individuals' physical and mental health with her previous experience as a massage therapist. And she could also create a space for people to open up and share in the group chats. Second, online buzz. So there are 3 main steps to promote our brand here. First off, with personal branding. According to research, we actually find out a lot of life coaches operate their social media like influencers. So Nakala can share her personality, strengths, and thoughts on social media. And also she could leverage on appealing images, hashtags, keyword settings, and customer testimonials for word of mouth purposes. Third one is yell together. We all understand it's always hard to work alone. So Nakala can build up connections to show care to the Black and brown community. By partnering with different organizations, actually Nakala can drive people's awareness on this issue and bring more exposure to the brand as a whole. So with our Joy campaign, we can anticipate an 18 times current revenue together with our 34 organic customers by the end of 2021. With the high service from Nakala, we believe that most of customers will actually return and stay in the program in the long run for more sustainable growth. Joyful Practices will be undergoing a major transformation starting in October, but Nakala has to take care of the service quality to maintain the customers as the business is scaling up. Nakala is such an amazing woman that we have learned to empower the Black community with more vibrant colors of life. And we hope that a joy recommendation could actually help her to find her way and others' way to joy. And with that, we are now opening our floor to questions.
Fantastic. Judges, questions. What questions for the Joy team do you have?
I love how the team came up there, like on the sides of you towards the end. One question from me is, if you would have been given 1 or 2 more days to work on this, where would you have gone?
Since the business is a lot about her, Nakala, so I think if we have 1 or 2 more days, we'll get to have more contacts with her and to know more about her, since the marketing strategy is really depends on what her strengths are and what her characteristics are. So that will probably be the part that we'll work on.
Awesome. Thank you, Dim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Team 2.31. All right, 3 more to go, guys. Is everybody getting excited here in the audience? We're getting down to it. All right, next up, Team 5.11, Asmara Dior Cosmetics.
Hello, can you hear me?
You're good.
Great, well then I will share my screen. Oh, whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to actually share it with you.
There we go.
Right. We are Team MAC, and our client was Asmara Dior Cosmetics. Asmara Dior is new to the beauty market, and therefore they face challenges common amongst many new startups, such as low credit and capital. Because they have low credit, they are having difficulty raising capital. And so we made our goal to generate sales, to increase their business credit and raise more capital down the line. We are planning on generating sales in two ways. First off is increasing visibility in person and online, and building trust. Because they focus on skincare, that's something that is very personal, and people want to make sure that they trust the cosmetic before they put it on their skin. So we outline 2 steps so they can build trust and increase visibility. First is their online presence. It should be consistent and clear. They'll do this in 3 ways. First is with the website, social media, and partnerships with bloggers. These will be strategic partnerships with Houston beauty bloggers, since they are a local business based in Houston. There are a few ways that we've outlined for them to get started with this, attacking 3 of those prongs there, using the website and social media. And we picked 2 different blogger partnerships for them to get started with. So step 2 is creating visibility and increasing trust with in-person events that connect the product to the person. In this regard, the person is 2 different people. First is the client themselves, who is the face of the company, and second is the customer. So what we're trying to get to happen here is have the brand associated with the founder, and then also get that brand in front of the customer, so the client and the customer can form the relationship over the brand. This will be done in 2 ways. First is by local markets, where the client can sell their products in person, and also with business partners, in particular beauty salons and spas in the area. We've picked a few markets for them to start at, as well as 2 business partners that they can reach out to. We do have a more extensive list that we are sending them separately. As a result of this, they will be able to increase their market outreach and their penetration rate. Over the salons, they will increase their number of visits and potential customers by about 1,000 women within the ages of 25 to 40 per salon. This will result in 100 unique customers per salon on an estimated 10% penetration rate. The 3 live markets we picked out will increase the reach by 3,000 women in our target range, and we estimated a 5% penetration rate for the market to acquire about 150 new customers. So in conclusion, our recommendation is that the clients solidify their online presence and make in-person connections. The impact of this will be from going from 0 customers all the way to 450 customers within 12 months. They just launched this year. It's a very exciting time. There are a few risks and limitations because they are new. They do have limited incentives for partnerships, which could result in lower profit margins depending on what incentives they are able to offer. This is a pitch deck we created for them to get started.
Brilliant. All right, judges, questions for the Asmara Dior team?
Sure. How did you determine the specific recommendations? By the way, I love that. A lot of people have said influencers or certain target markets, and I think you've actually named people, which is a great level of specificity, particularly to get off the ground. How did you select the people that you recommended?
So the owner is a Black woman specializing in natural ingredients. And so we focused on those salons that specialize in natural hair care or spas that specialize in facials. So we really want to put her in front of estheticians or natural hair care salon owners.
Great. But thank you for doing the extra work and actually finding the names. I think that's going to make it a lot easier for this business owner to take action on your recommendations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, team. 5.11. Very well done. All right, 2 more, you guys. 2 to go. It's getting exciting. Down to the wire. Our next team presenting is going to be team 6.7, Vacaville Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I will share the screen. Can you see it?
You're all set, Juan.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Juan Ignacio, and we will be talking about the challenges that the Vacaville Chamber of Commerce is facing currently. So the Vacaville Chamber of Commerce is a non-profit institution founded to provide aid to the local businesses in the city of Vacaville, which is a city of around 100,000 people located between San Francisco and Sacramento. Some of the services they offer to their members are business advocacy, networking, marketing, and advisories. Now, in order to understand the problems that the chamber is facing, I want you to look at the chart on the left. As you can see, the chamber relies heavily on membership dues as a source of revenue. However, because of the COVID pandemic, the number of members decreased in 25% in the last year, and with that, the organization's revenues. That's why we're looking for new ways to expand our clients' income stream to reduce their dependency on membership dues. We have identified 3 possible solutions.
Thank you,
for
Juan.
this.
So the
now
first
I'm going to
solution
leave
we
you with
came up
Andrea
with
Torioni
is
to
for the
present the
Chamber
first.
of Commerce to start education seminars. They would leverage the local teaching assistants of UC Davis, which is not far from Vacaville. They would do seminars every other month, for example, on a Tuesday from 6 to 9. The topic of the seminar would be decided by popular demand of local business owners. We want something that is relevant and that can also add value to the entire community. We computed that we only need 5 people to show up to each seminar in order for the Chamber of Commerce to turn a profit. Then the second solution we came up with is that Vacaville has VacaWorks, a website, basically a job board. It's up and running. They just need to market it a lot more. But we also advise them to go even further than that and to create a real marketplace for local resources. Here, what we're thinking about is for them, for example, a dentist that has an extra office that could post it there, and maybe a local startup that needs an office for a month could use it. The Chamber of Commerce would have oversight on that and take a fee when a transaction is made. And then next to my friend Connor, who will present the third solution.
Thanks, Andrea. So yeah, our third solution is really to create a membership card or a coupon book that the chamber can solicit offers from member businesses that'll drive business. These will be things that they sell to the general public. The general public can buy in order to get access to these discounts. And so really it's going to help drive revenue for the businesses. It's going to drive revenue for the chamber. And it's really going to help create community engagement. If you go to the next slide, you'll see that we've come up with a breakdown of the costs, revenue, and income that we can expect. We believe that with a low amount of outlay, they can generate significant amounts of income. And really our focus here is on using their network.
All right, final thoughts and questions from the judges.
So, great presentation, team. Really enjoyed this, and obviously can share a lot of the sentiment being running a nonprofit, and the challenge of fundraising for a nonprofit is actually a difficult and unique one. My question though is that obviously nonprofits aren't there to make money. So did you get a sense of what the additional income would be useful, and what impact are they trying to generate from this financial sustainability?
So really, in our talks with the chamber, it really seems like they're trying to just create a community impact. And so beyond even just offering that service to members, they're really trying to reach as much of the community as they can through whatever way that they can. And really, the revenues have fallen so much that I think they're really trying to bring themselves back up to what they were pre-COVID. And so that's our solutions were designed, aimed at helping them do that.
Amazing job. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks so much. 6.7. While the judges tabulate, we're going to be gearing up for our final presentation of the evening, which is going to be Team 4.4, representing BKM Fitness. So get ready, get set. This is the last one before we get to have the judges deliberate.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you can all see my screen.
Not yet. It's thinking about it. Okay.
How about now?
Yes, we can see it. It's not in present mode, but you're good.
Okay. All right. So My name is Banke, and I worked with a team, and we worked with BKM Fitness Bootcamp. So BKM is a fitness business that is focused on improving the health and well-being of people by conducting exercises and recommending healthy foods. The business has been on for about 13 years, and most of its clients are Black Americans within the age range of 30 to 70 years. Usually BKM peaks in January, February, and June, July. So BKM charges clients about $25 per week and conducts group exercise. Currently, BKM has 5 trainers and volunteers as employees. Okay, so the business challenges. Prior to COVID, BKM had about 300 clients, and their marketing strategy was majorly mouth-to-mouth and radio commercials. But when COVID hit, the clients reduced by over 60%, which also affected their revenue. And currently, the gym capacity for BKM is small, as the new COVID protocols, which is social distancing, has negatively affected the number of people that can be in the gym. And this also caused a business loss for the clients in 2020. Okay, so along with my team, we're able to brainstorm on some of the recommendations BKM can do to restore their clients to the pre-COVID stage, and also to increase their clients base beyond pre-COVID stage. So the first thing we came up with was for them to launch a "We Are Open and Safe" campaign. So this is going to help attract clients, pre-COVID clients, back into the gym, and it's also going to create awareness to other people, because it's going to show how intentional BKM is in continuing with its business activities while still maintaining COVID protocols. The second thing we recommended was for them to hire diverse trainers to attract diverse people in the gym. So based on our conversation with the clients, most customers currently are Black Americans, and we believe that once they can hire diverse trainers, they'll be able to attract diverse people, which will also increase the number of people in the gym. Then we also recommended that the client should conduct free gym campaign during non-peak periods in seasons like October and November to attract more people into the gym to experience the services. And we also recommended social media campaign on Facebook and Instagram, specifically to people located in St. Louis. Okay, so another recommendation we brought was for them to consider having an open area gym concept, which should allow more people into the gym, which would allow more people to exercise, as opposed to having a constrained environment. Okay, so from this whole recommendation, the impact would be that customers would increase by 100% in 2 months, and revenue will also increase by, sorry.
Do I go with question, Justin?
Yeah, we're open for questions.
Awesome. Can you go on with the metrics for impact?
Sorry?
Continue talking about the metrics.
Okay, thank you. So based on our recommendation, we'll have like 100% increase in customer base in 2 months. And this will also cause an increase in the revenue by $10,000 monthly. And then this will also afford the clients to have about 70% increase in brand recognition in St. Louis.
Thank you, Bank.
Okay. Thank you, Team 4.4. All right. This is where we're going to let the judges go and head into a breakout room, discuss amongst themselves briefly, and the rest of us are going to hang out here and share some of the things we thought were most amazing from things you saw today, especially for the presentations. It's the first chance for you to see because it was other schools. I'd love to hear from you guys. What stood out? What was something you liked? What was something you saw? Something that was memorable? Give us some notes here in the chat box, some impressions from these fantastic case study presentations for tonight. So we had some comments from the judges about seeing some personal faces of the owners, some of the personal stories. What caught your attention as just an audience member for a few minutes when everybody else was presenting? It's nice to hear the plans for the business beyond the startup launch phase. Absolutely. Cool. Lots of variety of the small business challenges you got to think about. Yeah, there was a wide range. We had skincare, we had technology, we had investments, we had insurance, we had cartoons educating kids on health. We had all sorts of amazing fitness towards the end here. So very wide variety for you guys. Legal firms, absolutely. Yeah, we're totally taking comments from small business owners. If you guys want to chime in as well, this is for you as much as it is for the MBAs in the room. So please do. Interesting to see the challenges in the marketing and business development domain. Yeah. You actually felt like a CEO. Ooh, look at that. When you get to actually talk to an advisory team about what you're doing and where you're headed. That's very cool, Daryl. I love hearing that. Amazing. You like hearing about the other businesses?
That was me.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So if you want to take
Paul said, I've got a minute. Go ahead, Daryl.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, I thought this was a great experience. And when I say I finally felt like a CEO, what I mean by that is I think many small business owners feel very tied to their business and can't really, I mean, you can't even feel good when you take a vacation almost, right? You're married to your business. And I think when I saw what the work, when the work was done, Lauren, Gagan, Ajit, I thought to myself, wow, I could be that CEO that takes off and plays golf for a week. I mean, not to sound cynical, but the business is in good hands. And I think what impressed me the most is they actually reached out to customers and target customers. I mean, it wasn't just, here's what we think kind of a consultation. This is, no, we actually talked to people. And to me, that was super impressive. I mean, what a lift in like 8 hours.
I'm so thankful for you for sharing that, because yeah, so the teams here that are going above and beyond and doing that level of effort are the ones that are making the hugest difference. So it's very cool to hear your perspective. And I see a couple other comments coming through as well, keeping this effort moving forward. So thank you so much for sharing that, Daryl. That's awesome. Very cool. Comments that your team got really attached to the mission of the small business. It's so personally impactful. I love hearing that as well, that you guys had a chance to really connect with what they're doing. I think that's what's so fun, because for the business owner, of course, it's their, essentially their baby, right? When you're a small business, you're kind of in it. But it's great to bring other people into that fold and be able to really connect on those sorts of things. So fantastic. Ivor says SBS challenge should definitely be kept going. We're working on it. That's the mission. So that's our purpose and mission for sure, is to keep moving with this effort, keep expanding it, and keep kind of steamrolling through reaching more and more small businesses and leveraging more and more of you guys' amazing talent here. So absolutely. What was one thing that was most surprising over the last 48 hours? Say Daryl was surprised like how far his team was able to go in a day or two. What about you guys? What was surprising for you over the course of the last 2 days? Anything that was not what you expected, good, bad, or otherwise? I can't be all that predictable. So now you guys had a lot of good experience into just a variety of things. Daryl has some big advice. You guys can take this one with you as you head off into your careers. People should consult MBAs before attempting to start small businesses. That's kind of the double-edged sword of small business, right? It's not always the easiest thing to do, and to the point, you do need to be able to ask help, because you can't expect to have skill set needed to succeed in these things. So Goggins says it's amazing how many hats small business owners wear. Yep. Polani says, I always thought legal firms are flush with cash, but that's not always the case. The peer appearances are deceiving, and I think that's a good lesson for everybody in the digital, digital space that we're in. The image of different businesses versus the reality behind the curtain when you take a peek at what's actually happening in the business are not necessarily always the same thing. Google is amazed by the quality of these proposals that they're created from scratch in 2 days is mind-boggling. We agree. We think it's really, really impressive. And yeah, the level of specificity is super appreciated. A lot of these guys even mentioned their supplemental recommendations, supplemental lists of influencers, list of potential partners, list of networks, list of places to go to and to start actually executing on some of these things is also being delivered to the businesses as a result of all the research you guys were able to do in just a very short, amazing period of time. So kudos for all of that. Anna Collins says this program is such a gift to your business. Thank you. And thank you for raising your hand and offering to be part of it. So we love that we're able to support you through this. Really love how forthcoming the business owners are in sharing information and how open to ideas. That is so amazing to hear, because as we discussed in the influencer strategy session, change is not easy, especially when it is kind of like your baby as a business and you might have some strong ideas about what you want to do with it and somebody comes in with maybe some new things. So change is not easy when it's something very personal, as many small businesses are. So I love that you guys had an experience where the owners were very open and you're able to collaborate together on these things. So that's fantastic. Awesome. So some surprises, lots of positives. What was the hardest thing about the last 2 days other than the compressed schedule? What would you say the biggest challenge was, either as a team or as an individual going through this process with us? Lonnie says, would be interesting to follow up with the owners on if they did manage to implement the recommendations, how they turned out. Yeah, just to let you know, that's a huge piece of what the SBSC is actually trying to do. We've actually just brought on a head of small business relations to help us manage that process and reach back out to the hundreds of small businesses that we worked with and gather some of that data and that feedback and those stories so that we can share more of those insights and even the impact that you guys are making. So for sure, Palani, yes. The challenge is completing this stuff. You've got things due on the day. Yeah, juggling life, business, classes, work, and the challenge for sure. For sure. I appreciate you guys that took it all on, drank lots of coffee. I heard stories about big mugs of coffee and lots of tea through the weekend. So thanks to those of you who are working through midterms and working through all the other things and still made space for this. Oh, prioritizing which challenge to focus on, 100%. And that's, you heard it from the small businesses too. That's always their challenge. It's not that they don't have ideas. It's having the brain space and the time and even the bandwidth to sift through and do the research and look at some data and prioritize like where to start, what's going to have the biggest impact. So for sure. Yep. Which piece of information is useful, which are not. Very challenging, very challenging. So that's a good lesson and a good exercise for you, Sue. Very cool. Yeah, small businesses face a ton of challenges. There's no shortage of these things. So even the solutions that you guys are offering to overachieve some of those is huge in moving forward with these guys. So very exciting. Okay. How would you describe the SBSC to somebody else? I'm curious, now that you've gone through the experience, you've gone through the whirlwind that is 48 hours of a hackathon, to partner with other students at a small business to create some solutions and do a crash course in research. What would you say to people thinking about joining us in the spring for our next one? I'm curious. Somebody in one of the workshops said it was like trying to do a 2-year MBA in 2 days. I thought that was pretty interesting feedback. What else would you guys say this event has been like for you? Any other great sound bites? Amazing we can get away for problem solvers looking to create impact. Ooh, I'm keeping that. That is brilliant. That is fantastic. Thank you. Awesome. You'll accelerate your decision-making skills for sure. The compressed timeline is going to really force clear thinking and fast decisions, and that is a very useful life skill. Awesome. Just got to do it. Talented students pour a bunch of love on your business over 2 days. That is awesome. That is fantastic. Makala, I love that. All right. What else? What else? Maybe guess for the business owners, or for the MBAs rather, what do you hope to hear from your small business owners 6 months from now or a year from now? If you were gonna like fast forward a year and you got a message from them, what do you hope you're gonna hear from them? Oh, I see our judges coming back. That means their decisions are ready. All right. Anybody want to share what they hope to hear? And then we were going to find out the results of this amazing, amazing event. That they have a huge successful user base. Brilliant. Did they do anything? Did they implement it or not? Yep. How did it work out? Really curious to hear if your solutions panned out. Yeah. Put these ideas, put these hypotheses as they are into practice and see what happens. Brilliant. Okay. I think it looks like all of our judges are back. Yes. We have decisions. We have decided. Okay. Okay. I need to like have a drum roll or some things ready. So here's what we're going to do, you guys. We're going to run through in like reverse order. So we're going to start with some of the additional awards, which are side quest and the fundraiser piece. And then we're going to go third, second, and first and save first for last. And we're going to invite the first place team to come on and actually share and chit chat with us a little bit. Okay, so be ready for it. Don't jump off early. Okay, so as you guys know, there were some additional things happening in the mix of the actual challenge itself, starting with the side quests. So side quests were these teams to go beyond to create viral reach for social media, to create media appearances, to find additional resource and sort of crowdsource some extra things for the SBSC mission and the database building of just knowledge sharing as a whole, all sorts of things. And the prize for the side quest is actually $1,000 split amongst the MBA team. Most of the rest of our prizes go to the small business owners, but for the MBAs who are really, really making an effort, we have a little prize to split. And so I'm happy to share that the drum roll, prize for the side quest, cash prize for the MBA team is going to go to, we saw them tonight, team 2.31, Xinting, Becky, and Ashlyn from Carnegie Mellon, who you guys had some amazing camaraderie. You had that great social post. All three of you guys coming on camera is exactly what we saw happening all over social media, as well as you're working together, and the enthusiasm for your business really came through. So congratulations to you. Job well done. Everybody can cheer for Carnegie Mellon in the chat box. Give those ladies a big high five for all the work they did on that. All right. And in a similar vein, we have an extra small business prize that's going to go to another one of the businesses from one of the school regions. And that's going to essentially go to one of the second place teams. So an extra $250 is going to be awarded to a team from Carnegie Mellon as well, because they came out on top in the fundraising. University of Washington was a close second, but Carnegie Mellon ended up being at the top spot. So that cohort is taking home all sorts of accolades for both the businesses and the MBAs tonight. So congratulations to everybody up in the Pittsburgh region and all of your work. You guys had a huge cohort this round, definitely making a massive impact. So very, very excited for you guys and just very thankful for all of those efforts. So you to the team and the MBAs taking some things home and extra business, you guys really showed up. And that's the fun stuff that I had to share. So we're going to move on to what the judges get to share now. All right, I'm going to bring back one of the judges. We're going to bring back David to announce the third place winner.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katrina. Most fun part of the night for me, and maybe for the last 6 months, getting to announce these prizes to recognize the hard work that you've all put in. But the third place team, what stood out to the three of us judges was really the understanding that to implement some of these recommendations, the further you can go to help make this as simple a set of actions as possible makes all of the difference. That's something we hear time and time again. And this team did exactly that by building out a whole pitch deck, a whole marketing plan, a very simple step-by-step approach. We're very happy to say that third place goes to Asmara Dior Cosmetics.
Amazing. Team 5.11, and that is a $500 cash prize to Asmara Dior to help her implement those strategies and put that stuff into action. All right, we need audio. Like I need the clapping. Like, I'm gonna work on that for next round, you guys. I promise. Unmute for a second. We can all unmute and do the actual applause. Let's do that. That's way better. Thanks, guys. Thanks for playing along. Challenge is a virtual event. Silent clapping just doesn't cut it. Doesn't cut it at all. So yeah, you guys will be announcing as well, but for sure, go ahead after this and let Asmara Dior know that she is a winner as a result of your amazing efforts. So that's huge. Awesome. All right. Second place, we're going to bring on Floor to announce the second place team. And this prize is $1,500 to the business owner. So the stakes are going up, you guys.
Yeah. So talking with Brian and David, things that stood out to us on this team. First, very clear path forward for the business. Not only kind of like an action plan, but also a way to think about the problem that you're facing. And then the second one was that when you talked about the business, you were very empathic on what is exactly that is happening, what is the problem that the person is facing, but then also the people that they are trying to tackle. So all in all, very well-rounded, very, very impressive presentation. So this one goes to Joyful Practices.
Congratulations. Yes, Joyful Practices, the Joy Plan.
Thank
love
you.
that.
Thank you.
That was memorable. Fantastic. You guys are big winners tonight, you and your business. So cool to see all that effort you put in. Very cool. And way to go, Carnegie Mellon. Yeah, so Rice, just so you guys know, the third place team was from Rice. Second place team was from Carnegie Mellon. So that leaves the first place team. So Brenna, do you want to come on with the honors?
Yes, we don't know about this first place team. Certainly I don't. So this was a team we all liked a lot from the judges table. And I think it comes down to being incredibly well-rounded in the presentation, right? The kind of thing that will lead you into good exec careers where you're defining the problem really clearly, defining the solution, outlining the strategies and tactics to execute them in a way that felt timed appropriately, executed well, and clear to execute. So it felt like a nice tight package of a presentation for us where you kind of nail each bullet. And I will say in the conversation, this is one that we had a pretty solid consensus on, which is tough because we do have some debate behind the scenes. So number one for us this time is going to be Tiny Docs. Congratulations for number one.
Oh my goodness, Tiny Docs, team 3.5. What? That is Arizona State who is joining us for the first time. So the team from Tiny Docs, come on and talk with us, talk with the judges, let's share some things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think we really probably didn't anticipate it. But I think what kind of like stood out the most to our team was we really aligned with the mission of Tiny Dogs. One of our team members was a mom, and as a mom, like she really related to having your kid go through the procedures and not kind of like know what to do, right? And these things would just create a lot of impact. And I come from a nonprofit background too, and I worked in the healthcare space there. So I think it was just that connection, personal connection that we were able to make with the business owner and the mission. I think that kind of like really helped us solve that problem. We were part of the team, I think that really helped us a lot.
Amazing.
But very humbling experience. Thank you so much.
What you guys did super well too, which will be a big part of your future careers and presentations, is kind of do that, 30, 30, 30, right? You presented the problem, you presented the solution and the measurement, and you did it in a really tight package where the narrative felt all the way through, right? It was easy to follow and understand. And I think that is so critical, right? Because to help us understand a business that quickly, what they need that quickly, and then what you're going to do about it, I think that was really exceptionally done.
Thank you. And huge shout out to my teammates here, Tamara and Pisayo.
Don't be shy. Come on.
Yeah,
Well, honestly, so stressful. My daughter is like literally right next to me eating McDonald's, not healthy at all, and ice cream, because we have literally just been at it this entire time. So I'm glad to be in good competition with these talented people. So I'm gonna go back on mute now.
So much fun. Thanks, you guys. It's been amazing, and I love hearing your experience, and it'll be great to even be able to share this with Tiny Decks as well, because they're actually not a stranger to the SBSC world. So very cool to see next evolution for that small business as well, continuing their relationship here with us and here with you guys. So very, very cool. All right, I think that's all the prize money I have to give out. Hold on, let me double check. Pretty sure that wraps up the prizes. So let me just kind of conclude a little bit with, again, another big, huge thanks and huge round of applause. One, to our judges for joining us on Saturday night. I heard rumors that one of them is actually hosting a party, but she's locked everybody in the kitchen for a minute so she can come and judge. So that's how serious everybody is about supporting you guys and this mission here and offering this perspective. But beyond that, there's been so many new schools. We had 5 new schools join us in part, and a lot of other individuals volunteering from some at-large and wildcard teams. And we look forward to being engaged and involved with you guys in the spring and then through next fall. SBSC's game plan right now is a fall event and a spring event. You guys are absolutely invited to join us again and make this a repeater. We had some teams that we celebrated last spring who were 3-peaters with us, who came on board at our very first event, and then through the rest of their second year did both semesters with us. So would definitely love to have some repeat alumni MBAs come back and work with us, as well as some businesses. You're always welcome to come back as well. And even to step up, think about the opportunities to organize this for your school and take a leadership role with us. We are going to be sharing some opportunities to come on board as a regional event manager for spring, and we would love to see some alumni. A lot of our regional event managers are actually participants from previous events, because you know what we're about, the ropes a little bit, and it would be great to have you guys involved at a bigger level. So David, do you want to share a little bit more about what's next for the SBSC? Anything that we haven't shared yet?
There will be a lot more opportunities to get involved. I think we're at a place now where our alumni network from this event is in the thousands of MBA students, of small business owners, of incredible mentors, previous judges from the school finals. And we're just building the capacity within the SBSC itself to build that into a tighter-knit community. And all of you MBA students know that the most valuable part of getting an MBA is the network that you automatically receive as a part of that. And so we know we have a lot of value to provide in that sense. And I think that's one of the most exciting things from the MBA perspective to look out for over the next 6 months. As Katrina said, the more involved you get with us and helping out with the next event, even more a part of that community you will be. So yeah, we'd love to see some of you back in the spring.
And also, we can't leave tonight without giving a huge round of applause to our Director of Operations for this event, Austin, who has been running the show from an operations standpoint. It's not an easy thing, you guys, to run a national virtual event corralling MBAs from dozens of universities, businesses from 2-3 dozen different states and getting everybody all in the same spot and all the technology. So big also round of applause to Austin for his help and his efforts over the last couple months here in coming alongside us as well. So very excited. You guys will be hearing from us for sure. And
I just wanted to jump on and also add my thanks, Austin. It's an incredibly difficult role. Like that needs to be like, you will see 3% of the work that Austin puts in, and even through the regional event manager network as well. But this last 6 months, Austin's taken on the role with such ownership that a lot of the new initiatives and the hopefully great experience you will have as participants in this is a lot of Austin's hard work. So just wanted to add my thanks to you there, Austin. Really, really appreciate the work. And we'll also take this opportunity to thank my partner in crime, Katrina, who most of you probably know, but right now is the middle of the night where Katrina is in Europe. I don't know how you can be as an engaging a human being and MC for this event, and also keep us all going in the right direction and having the amazing impact that we do. So I'd love if everybody else could give a quick round of applause for Katrina as well for the amazing work she's put in for this event.
Thanks, guys. Team effort. Awesome. Well, yes, as David said, it's late here. I know it's late for you guys. You've all put in some crazy hours. So you'll be hearing more from us post-event. And businesses, of course, all the winners will hear from us as well. Thanks again to Brenna and Flora for joining us on a Saturday night. And to the rest of you, thanks so much for the support in general. We couldn't do what we're doing for small business without you. And it just means so much to both us and all the businesses that benefit to have you be part of this. Even if it's an academic exercise or, a step in your MBA path, we're excited that we were part of it. So thank you to that. And on that note, have a great and fantastic evening, everybody. We'll be in your inboxes following up shortly, but it's time for everybody to rest. Give yourselves a round of applause. And carry on. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your evening.